Welcome to a 1 vs 1 replay analysis requested by TheWarning. You can see here that Warning started with a Jumpbot factory, and he's going against Cabinboy, which has started with a Cloakybot factory. Let the game begin. So, TheWarning, he wanted tips about how to finish off his opponent and how to micro. So it looks here like he's gonna go for a kind of aggressive start with one pyro, and he's gonna have his commander build a mech and then solars. You can see he didn't quite finish his mechs off, which is fine, I guess. But now you can see he has a bit like making solars this early. Like I would recommend building like two mexes and then maybe a solar or two, and then the last mex. But the way he does it now, he's gonna be having excess energy he doesn't use, while also having too little metal. Like if he balances his approach, he should always be basically balanced, or maybe 2 off, for example. Like now he's producing 4 more energy, and now 6 more energy than metal, and he doesn't really need to do that, so he could have finished his mechs earlier. That's a little thing he does, but at least he has his commander on high priority, so he's gonna finish these with highest priority. And here comes a glaive from cabinboy. High priority is good because then, yeah, the factory won't drain the resources. So you can see that our pyro is moving out, and it has avoided the glaives, I guess. Like a pyro can kill its worth against glaive, but you have to be careful how you do it. And now he's choosing to go for puppies, and puppies are pretty good. They're pretty reliable against glaives. And let's see how he performs with his pyro. He takes just a little bit of damage from the commander, that's okay. But this is a Lotus, and yeah, a pyro can just barely go in against Lotus. And he's gonna try to go in away, but that's probably not a good idea, and he's gonna choose to run away. That's the right choice, to run away there in that position. Like, he can hide behind a factory, but the factory will... the Lotus Tower won't be able to shoot through the factory, and you can hide the pyro behind it. But then if there's glaives around it, or a commander coming in from the other way, you have to run away, or you have to sacrifice the pyro. And you can see here that there are some puppies, and they're going after the glaives. And cabinboy loses most of his glaives against the commander. So I saw here that he has killed 2 glaives with puppies, and puppies are good against. They're pretty good against cloakybots in general. It's like they can do pretty well against most stuff. They don't do well. They do well against Ronins and not warriors or knights, but otherwise they are good against the cloakybot factor. And there's the pyros finish off, and it's gonna take 1 glaive with it at least. But otherwise it slowed down the commander a bit, like it had to go around and stuff like that. And here, you gotta be careful though if you're trying to chase down glaives, because the glaives can then kite it kinda. And that's like, the puppy just barely doesn't quite have enough range to shoot it when chasing it. So if the glaives are standing still or moving against puppies, the puppies will get them alright, but if you're trying to chase the glaives, you won't really get them. And we can see here this pyro is going against 4 glaives. Like, if the glaives get a good surround, they can run in and kill this. So we have to be careful how you do this and use the jump at the right time. He's already used the jump, but he's gonna get 1 glaive. And that's the thing, like, you can be careful with the pyro, and then after taking some damage and killing 1 glaive, like he almost killed 2 glaives there, but not quite. You can go back and repair it. But it also, like, it's kind of hard to make cost that way, and it takes a time. A lot of time typically has to repair it. But yeah, it's tricky. Like the micro against glaives with pyros is tricky. Like preferably if the glaives commit, you can't really escape with the pyro. If they get a decent round, and you can't really escape it, the glaives. But if you make a jump at the right time, the pyro's gonna be air and burning them, while the glaives have trouble hitting the pyro. And here you can see some glaives, but there's 3 puppies here, and that's just fine. And the Lotus Earth, so that's fine. So yeah, if you jump while the glaives are trying to come in, you're gonna kill a lot of stuff. And you can see here the moderators, yeah, that's good. You can burst down a Lotus turret in 2 shots with moderators. But you don't want to stay in range of the Lotus turrets while they reload. So now he should have both there. Oh, and you can see the commander's really slowed. But here comes the Zeus and a lot of glaives that you gotta be careful here, because this can be dangerous pretty fast. But there's also a placeholder which takes care of the glaives. And yeah. And this is kind of messy, but he has a placeholder, so we might be able to get the commander with this placeholder. Now it traps both the knight and the commander, but the pyro is finished off easily by the knight. So he chooses to go in against this, but he has nothing against his glaive. Maybe the placeholder can save them? This is gonna be tricky, just barely. Oh, nice shot. The placeholder just about saves his force. Probably. He's not in the clear yet. He's almost stunned. And he has no fast units coming, so he has no reinforcement. But yeah, placeholders are pretty good. And you can see here, while he was having this fight, he hasn't expanded his production of units. He hasn't built any more energy, although he doesn't have enough production for energy. So yeah, like these excessive, like he needs to start building more energy now, and more. He needs to start spending his metal again. So he's gonna try to upgrade his commander. What is he going for? Lightning rifle. And auto repair and some high power. I usually don't like upgrades on the commanders. I think they're all kind of too costly. They're usually not worth it. You're better off with units most of the time. But we'll see how he manages this. And he's gonna jump in with Jack, and that's gonna bait the glaives, so the placeholder can kind of get him. So yeah, like glaives, they won't really stay out of range of the Jack, so they might get the Jack for cost eventually, but you can also just retreat the Jack if you have some other units guarding it. And here comes some unresponded, like he doesn't have a radar here. You probably want a radar here. This radar doesn't see here because it's a radar shadow behind these hills. Like the radar can't see behind these hills, so there's a radar shadow there. And they come in unnoticed and are gonna kill these mixes. And they, yeah. And the placeholder, yeah, you can see the placeholder. So if he has been quicker with responding here, he could send the pyros here. Yeah, but they're a little bit late, so the mixes are gonna die probably. It's gonna force away them from one mix. Yeah, now he's microing at 2 spots at once. Like, pyros on fight deal just fine with glaives like this. You can bleed them just be... he could probably have chased after this commander. It's kind of low. It has a personal cloak and lightning rifle. Interesting. Heavy machine gun and lightning gun. But he's gonna go skirmishing here. And yeah, he started building energy now. But you see, he's going in really aggressive. So he kind of sacrifices his economy here. But you can see the 3 pyros, they're kind of hard to deal with for like just glaives. You need something more heavy to deal with pyros in general. Like you can surround the Sloan, and he's gonna jump in against this knight, and that's decent. But he also should have his moderators here, while they're just standing here. The commander is also just standing here. You paid all this money. Oh, and that tick was kind of nice. He stuns, yeah, the Jack and the pyros. And yeah, he's gonna lose the pool pyros. Like, you have to be really careful against knights. Moderators are really good against knights, but yeah, they were just standing back, so I don't get why. You also have this commander. Like, it should be, you should be trying to use it all the time. You have upgraded this for now, how much? Almost 3,000 metal for this commander, and it has not done any damage. Yeah. So yeah. Like, imagine 3,000 metal in moderators, they would just sweep this area of everything that's alive. And you can see he's accessing again, just spending 5 metal. He's not building anything in the factory. He should be building more constables and retaking all these mixes and making more factories and caretakers and using his metal. Instead he's spending it in this commander. He could spend it in the commander because he's not spending it on anything else, and he doesn't really have the build power to use this metal. So he should really be... yeah, he could upgrade the commander. Yeah. Like a jump here would be nice, but he just barely survives. So that's kind of lucky by him. And you can see here the knight suffering against his moderators. And I guess the commander can get it. Oh, it doesn't quite kill on commander in one shot. But now he's not spending any metal. You need to spend your metal. It's as simple as that. Like, do anything. Turn on the factory. Upgrade the factory. Like, yeah, you're gonna be facing ever more and more units. Like, now you see even the glaives are gonna kill this jack, most likely. Like, yeah, it kills a lot of glaives, but eventually it will, like, die to mass glaives, because you're not making any reinforcements. And the commander is not in range. And the moderators, they could also have been in range. On the placeholder, could also have been in range. Like, that's a thing. Jump bots, they have really powerful tools. Placeholders, moderators, pyros, jacks, they're all very powerful tools. But they need repairs, and you need to use them the right way. Like, having them sit back like this while one jack and one pyro goes in against this army. That's not how you use jumpy bots. Like, you have to use them in conjunction, and yeah, it's complex. But you see how much you can do. Like, he has this army that's holding off all of the enemy units. But you can see here that the metal Pews, he was ahead initially, but now Cabinboy is getting back into this game. He has also spent not that much on his commander, but still almost 2000 metal on his commander. And he's now even taking the mexes on your side, the warning. Like, you shouldn't have let him get here. You should have units. And you're still not making any more constables. Yeah. Yeah, and if you're not used to this interface, yeah. There are some buttons that you have to enable and disable. I haven't done it myself yet, so I can't really give tips on that, but yeah. It's a new interface. And I see how that can throw you off. And the Stinger, you have to be careful against the Stinger, like you don't want to set in moderators. This Stinger already made cost by killing 2 moderators. So yeah. I don't know what the Faraday is gonna do, like, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Like, a Stinger kinda stops can easily, like, Stingers can kinda stop a army of jump bots. If you don't have any jacks or firewalkers, like, jacks can go in, but on the other hand, if they're overwhelmed, you can't really send them in. If there's too much defense or too many glaives and other supporting stuff, you can't really send in jacks alone, typically, against Stingers and such heavy defenses. So now you're finally gonna try to attack this position, but this upgraded commander is not gonna have any problem to deal with a few pyros, as well as some light defenses here. So yeah, when are you gonna build more constables and retake these mixes? Because now you're getting badly out-ecoed by your opponent. You did a pretty good push early on. Like we can see here, like the units killed, value killed. You are way ahead in value killed. You did a good push, but then you just needed some constables behind this to build and make units behind this. Like, how much metal? You accessed 4,700 metal. I mean, even putting that metal in the commander would have been better, but the commander is still not worth its cost. Like, now we spent how much? 4,500 metal in this commander, and it's stopped by a few units. Like, it's not... It has how much build power? 28 build power, so we could power build defenses, I guess. That's kind of an interesting choice, just power building defenses. But once the enemy has phantoms and slings, they can kill defenses alright. Like, Cloaky Bots has slings and phantoms, and they're good. Both of them are good artillery that can just kill defenses pretty easily. And you're gonna start to clear out this area with pyros and moderators, and they do kind of fine with that. But you're probably gonna lose a few pyros. Like if you're killing Lotus turrets, it's hard to like not lose pyros when you're facing off against these defenses. And you can't really afford to lose anything because you're losing value. You're behind in metal income, far behind. So yeah, that's a thing with jump bots. They typically have the tools to deal with stuff, and they can make a really strong, concentrated push. And you can see here the commanders get them, yeah, like the Stinger built, they're getting destroyed by the Phantom and the Slings. And the commander's gonna have to retreat in the face of that. And here we can see that the 2 Lotus turret, how much did they kill? 1 moderator and 1 pyro? Yeah, and 1, yeah, so... yeah, even if you Lotus turrets are gonna be like, it's hard to deal with and cost effectively if you're not microing units. And here comes a Cloak Imp, that's interesting, that's pretty good use. It's a nice stun by Cabin Boy. Like he's gonna get these pretty cheap and then he's gonna just run over these. Oh, he runs into the flames. You have to be careful when you're killing pyros with glaives. The fire here is really lasting a long time. But yeah, Cabin Boy dealt with that pretty cost effectively, and these defenses are about to be overrun. Yeah, so... and you're still not taking these mexes? Why not? You're not taking these mexes. Like, if we look at the total value, you were never really ahead. You were killing like you had an army pushing against the enemy that was doing very good cost. Like, you can see how far ahead you were on value killed. But then you started accessing, and yeah, and you didn't expand behind this, even though you weren't really pressured by Cabin Boy. Like just 1 or 2 constables taking these mixes behind, and like building a few more caretakers or a few more plates. That would have been your victory, I think. Yeah. But now you're gonna have to try to defend against this overwhelming army. And this commander here, he hasn't done a lot. He's built a few defenses that has died. He's repaired a few units at the front. But you paid what? How much? 4,500 for this commander? Yeah, that hasn't paid back. So yeah, you sunk in so much cost into this commander when you should have been expanding behind this. With the area. With this push, it was a good push, but yeah. You need to expand behind it as well, and not just let the enemy take all the ground. So yeah. And yeah, now there's even slings killing defenses. And you have a Phoenix. How well is it gonna do? It doesn't even survive a run. Will the glaives die? Maybe. But yeah, now the enemies are overwhelming forces here, so yeah. 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 So that's it, yeah. Yeah, so you did good initially with more metal used, but then you started accessing, like you didn't use your metal here. You can see how, like, your metal income, your metal produce, you were ahead until this point, but you didn't use metal and started accessing. And yeah, you really, if you see the difference here between the metal produce, 24, and like how much this could have been units. Like the difference here could have been units for you. So yeah, don't excess metal, and yeah, expand your economy, your energy, and also more importantly your income, your build power, so you can help the factory build stuff. Yeah, the push was good. You can see here the army, you had an army superiority, and you could probably have pushed harder if it was more coordinated, like you left the moderators behind at times and the placeholder behind at times, and went in with Jack alone, and the commander wasn't there as well. So I mean, the way cabinboy played, you could probably have pushed through to his base with that if we were microing well. But you could also have been macroing behind by building mechs and taking all these mechs that you never retook or ever took and building some energy and some more, like and just pumping out units. So yeah, you can see how far ahead you were in kill value. Yeah. Oh well, that's it for this replay, and good luck next time.